America, there was a bit of little heated debate on ESPN between one Kendrick Perkins, who my brother Tim G. Jacobs spoke on last week. Make sure y'all go back and check that segment out where he told y'all to police the ignorance, okay? And JJ Redick, okay? JJ Redick, who's become a cult figure, a fan favorite to some for his takes on First Take and other platforms on
Yep.
ESPN, okay? And the beef was over MVP voting, okay? As y'all know, it seems like Nikola Jokic is about to win his third straight MVP. Okay. Uh, my brother Tim G. Jacob disagrees with that. And if y'all want to find out why, make sure y'all go check out that video, okay, where Tim G. Jacob lays out his honorable awards, the NBA edition. Okay, make sure y'all check that out. But based on what the national sports media is talking about, seems like Jokic is about to win his third straight. And only three other players have ever done that. That would be Mr. Bill Russell. Got to show respect to him.
Absolutely.
Wilt Chamberlain and Larry Legend, Larry Joe Bird. Okay. So Kendrick Perkins implied that the fact that Jokic is about to do this has a little racial element to it because the majority of the voters are white. And JJ Redick felt some type of way about that. He basically accused Kendrick Perkins of accusing or implying that the MVP voters are racist. Okay, so that led to all kind of stuff on social media. Perkins came out and said, "Well, last year y'all called me a coon. This year y'all called me a racist. What is it?" And then it's been all kind of stuff. Okay, so y'all know this is right up our alley here on the realest, most entertaining sports show in the game. Put it on something. Okay. So I'm asking my brother, T, do you think race has a factor? Does it play a role in the way some of these writers and the folks that cover the game on a national basis? Do you think race has a role or factor in how they vote?
um, hmm. I would I would say it does, but I don't think it's as glaring.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because if that was the case, I mean, Luca could have won what last year or something. They could have pushed him along
Well,
and
they did give it to a white guy. I mean,
well,
Jokic had kind of like,
yeah. I mean, but I mean, I mean, he could just continue. I mean, I don't really think it's the biggest factor. To be honest with you, I think it's a lot of just. I think it's a lot more the access and the kind of things that they can get from a guy to write articles and journal and things like that, and like he mentioned the year I think Kobe should have won it. We got the Lakers to the playoffs,
mm-hmm.
and I want to say you might have to go clear it up for me, but
He's talking about one of Steve Nash joints or something.
yeah, I think it might have been one of the ones that Steve got, and he was like, uh, Steve was a darling in a lot of people's eyes because
Mm-hmm.
they had never seen somebody with the the type of play that he had in Phoenix, and they just ran a system that was tailor made to him that
Mm-hmm.
worked. But then I think was Bean coming off of that case around that time?
Well, that whole time was that case because 2004 was when all that hit.
Okay,
So yeah, around that time you still in the era of video games when he went. Yeah, on the video game, if you played in Denver, they were booing Bean. That's how crazy they were. Y'all young people don't know nothing about that. Okay, I digress.
golly.
I
But yeah, I think more of it has to do with how media can get access to guys and stuff, and just kind of them being able to um touch a player and get comments from them and get access and that kind of stuff. I think factors in my eye. Um, the Bean thing, I think Bean just kind of didn't have a lot of grace with the media in terms of that case after that. So it was kind of like, do we make him MVP after he's had all this? And I know it should be just ball, but they do that. I think they do that.
mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think it's the biggest factor in it. I do think there is some components at times, but I don't think it's the biggest factor. I think a lot of these journalists out here do a good job of putting their eye on the game and really watching and paying attention to stuff. Um, I do think that neither of those MVPs Jokic had were like just clear cut, just run away. I think you could have argued Embiid last year. Uh, you could argue Giannis every year for
Mhm.
what he's doing. I mean, so, but again, they love a story and they love what Jokic is doing on this level right now with the triple double thing going on. And I get it, but it can't be clear. I would not want to see it be clear cut. It shouldn't be clear cut. I mean, this year.
Mhm.
But I don't think race is that big of a factor. I think the guys do a good job of looking at it in a sense. I don't think they hate Embiid. I think they like Embiid. I mean,
Mhm.
so I don't think it's that. I don't think race is that big of a factor. I just don't.
Okay.
It was kind of real interesting. Perk said that. I mean, and then he's trying to make Jokic out to be a stat pattern and all that stuff. And I'm like, well, they just rescinded Giannis triple double the other night for trying to get the rebound. So who's that pattern? I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's just I don't know, man.
Oh
That was that
no,
was kind of that was kind of that was real raw take coming from OKP on that one.
Giannis shouldn't have done that. Like, wait, what you doing, man? But all right, I'm gonna say it does, T. But I think when people hear this, they think like JJ Redick thinks that Perk was calling the voters racist. And that's not what I'm doing. Now, if that's what Perk was doing, that's on Perk. But I don't think it's done with like malice or nothing like that. The way I see it is this is a majority white country, but the NBA is a overwhelmingly black league.
Mhm.
Like the NBA is blacker than America is white. Like white folks make up 65, I'm gonna say, percent of America.
Mhm.
Black folks make up 80% of the NBA.
Right.
But white folks make up the majority of the fans. They make up the majority of the owners, of course. They make up the majority, overwhelming majority, by the way, of all the overwhelming majority of the media covering all that.
Mhm.
So when you see this black league and you got all these racial stereotypes out there, like white men can't jump, and Larry Bird legendarily saying can't no white man guard him, feeling offended when they put a white man on him and stuff like that.
Mhm.
When you see all the little undercurrent of stuff, like when the old boy just won the slam dunk contest,
McClung, McClung.
McClung,
Yeah.
you know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about? So when I think like when white writers, white media figures see somebody that they can more relate to, even though he's from Europe, okay, but still got the same skin, they say, I like that because they can relate. I'm saying that as a black person because we do the same shit.
Right.
And in sports that are overwhelmingly white, we do the same shit. I remember when Tiger Woods won that last Masters and everybody losing their fucking minds. And because I'm out on Tiger in
Mhm.
terms of like that because of some of the lack of stances Tiger has taken. And then we saw, Tiger seems like he don't even care for a black woman whatsoever.
Right.
So just some him not wanting to be black, he complicates. So I'm like, hey, okay, I'm grown. Now I see Tiger, you ain't, you don't want to be down with the call. So but black folk were losing their mind over that.
Mhm.
And so I said something about it on Twitter, and somebody said, oh, people's love of Tiger has nothing to do with race. I'm like, bullshit.
Right.
Bullshit. Black people don't give a fuck about Brooks Koepka.
Right.
Black people don't give a fuck about I don't
McElroy.
know,
Roy
Rory
McElroy.
McIlroy
Yeah.
or Jordan Spieth, whatever the fuck they name. We don't give a fuck.
Right.
Okay. Tiger looked like us. You go to tennis, Venus and Serena look like us and come from the hoods that we come from. So we do the same shit.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I get it. When white people see somebody in a black dominated sport that they can relate to. You see it in boxing all the time
Oh, absolutely.
where the racial component comes in. Think in Floyd made millions off of playing that racial dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he always tried to fight somebody that was a Mexican or something like that
Mm-hmm.
around Cinco de
Cinco de
Mayo.
Mayo. Yeah.
He knew what the hell the black folk were gonna be rooting for him, and Latinos gonna be rooting for the other guy. And no matter what, they gonna pay. He played it up with him versus Ricky Hatton. He did it. Muhammad Ali used to do it. Right. When he fought Chuck Wepner, tried to lie and say that Chuck Wepner called him the N-word. He just made that up, but he knew he was playing off of it. Why? Because he knew that the fans gonna relate to and they're gonna root for the person that's most similar to
Right.
them. So I don't think that the writers, even though they're supposed to be unbiased, I don't think that they just totally lose that. I don't think they're completely objective like that.
Mm-hmm.
Some about them said, okay, I've been covering this league for 30 years. It's pretty nice to see a white guy get off from time to time. Right. They gotta feel that way.
Oh, yeah, of course.
They gotta feel that way. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
To an extent. Now, that should it affect their vote? No, it shouldn't. But for some, okay, how else? I guess somebody would say, okay, I was about to say, how else can you explain this gonna happen? That you got Wilt and Russell, who were, just behemoths of the league.
Yeah, they were giants, man.
It ain't even that many teams. So, like, okay, you kind of understand why they got 3 in a row.
Right.
So, after that, Michael Jordan never did it.
Nope.
Magic Johnson never did it. Kobe, Shaq, Elijah Wan, Bron never did it. Kareem never did it. How to name all these guys who are in top 10s of people's list?
Yeah,
never did it. But Larry Joe Bird and Jokic finna be the only ones that did.
Yeah.
So that leads to that question.
Right.
So
I mean, and Bron was, and the crazy thing was, remember Bron, because I was looking at the MVP award list. Bron could have won it 5 years in a row, but Derrick Rose had a break right in between it. He had 2, then Derrick Rose, then he had 2 more. And it was like, that's crazy in itself. I mean, nobody really talks about that. The dude had 4 out of 5 MVPs and could have had 5. But D Rose was great that year, I guess you'd say. And, he cracked it in. And I kind of wonder if they just stopped him. It makes you question, did they want to stop that for Bron or what?
Possibly.
I mean,
they didn't do it with Mike either. It's like they beat the media, like you said on your joint about this fatigue. Seems like they do have their own little, okay, but no, not you for this, because you're not deserving of this type of shit. But what now? I will say this: Jokic finna get it in 3 different ways. What was that? That first one.
The first one was
like,
they was that the bubble? No, it wasn't bubble. I'm tripping.
I know with the second one, okay, his guys out.
Yeah, Murray was out.
They still make the playoffs.
Yeah.
His number's great. Okay. That sounds most valuable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This year, the man's averaging a triple-double, and they number 1. And we know how that goes. Best player on the best team, and then your stats look gaudy.
Right.
We've seen that. I forget how he got it first time. Probably just
I was trying to see if I could find that year and the breakdown, but I can't find it.
I think that was some voter fatigue too then back then, because Giannis had won 2.
So the first year, he got like a whole bunch of the first place votes. He averaged 26. Embiid averaged 28. They're about the same on rebounds. He had 8 assists that year. The next year, he was behind him. Embiid was behind him again. The first place votes, Embiid got more first place votes the second go round, and there's Giannis implanted right there at third. First year though, I think they were just like in awe of what he did. They finished third in the West that year.
But I think too they didn't want to give it to Giannis for a third straight time. Giannis had just come out back to back.
That's right. And then the second year, like you said, he didn't have his guy because they finished sixth in the West that year. He didn't have his guy, led him to the playoffs, but then got put out. So, and there's Embiid, like I said, behind him both years. So it's a narrative. I mean, I guess you can create a way to say he deserves it.
The numbers are got it. He like you said, he had that year. Those numbers were got it. We were like, oh God, I think you were saying it back then. This is the most skilled big I've seen. Goddamn.
Yeah.
Then, like I said, last year, it was just tailor-made MVP case in terms of you get guys down, you still drag these boys to the playoffs.
Yep.
And then this year, you're averaging a triple-double from the center position. I know some going to say, well, we've seen it already from the point guard position. And what was so impressive about that to many is the rebounding from the point guard.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't expecting a point guard to go get 10 rebounds, even though I told you I don't give a fuck about NBA rebounds anymore. And for the center, I think what's most impressive, folks are looking at the fact that you getting all them assists as a point center. So we can't say the man ain't hooping. Right. But also I think it would be too idealistic to think that not racism, not the thought that I hope there are no NBA media figures that had to have a vote who are racist, who think that white people are superior to black people.
Right.
But I think we'll be far-fetched to think that they don't have a racial bias. Like they don't like, maybe their child is inspired by this guy who's got the same skin as them in this black league, but be busting their ass.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, we do that with Jack Johnson was whooping ass back in the day against white folks. Joe Lewis, that was part of his appeal.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But America, y'all chime in. Real ones, y'all chime in. Okay. Y'all think race plays a factor in not only NBA MVP voting, hey, top it up. I know in the NFL, quarterback is what plays a factor. You cannot
can't do nothing else but play it.
Just be a quarterback.
Be a quarterback.
You get a vote.
Yeah.
All 32 quarterbacks get a vote over there.
Except for Russell. Russell never got one. I just wanted to point that out as well. Russell Wilson never got one. I don't know what the problem was with that, but yeah.
Maybe race was a factor.
There you go.
Put it on sub.
Thank you so much for watching my daddy's YouTube channel. Make sure you like, share, and turn on your post notifications. Okay, how do I do it?